kills a lot of people, and ROX, we were wondering if they were going to kind of disrespect ANX here, but they're not. They banned the brand away from Likkrit. If you guys haven't seen it, it's a real treat, but you'll probably never see it because it's also a little disgusting, and he kills a lot of people.
The brand support.
Look, man.
Is Iris still up? What's going to happen?
Nidalee is off the table right away. Yeah. They don't want to get Peanut there.
And Elise jumps up in priority with the Rek'Sai and the Nidalee off the table.
Elise, it showed in game 1, Elise is the priority jungler. They just wanted.
Well, we'll sort that out shortly.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Elise, they are going to get this as a first pick. I think that's pretty insane to get right off the bat for Peanut. We are now back into Champion Select.
Yeah, it's his most played champion, even when Rek'Sai and Gragas were really popular. 90.9% win rate on it, so he played 11 times. He's only lost 1 game on it this split. He's been an absolute monster on it. It's all about that early ganking and that early pressure that he can get his lanes.
Interestingly enough, what do you think are the options here for Albus Nox Luna to take back, to combat the Elise in the early game? Of course, we saw the Olaf come in from McSmithy last game, but what really has a solid matchup into the Elise in terms of early jungle pressure?
I think Elise is like probably the greatest right now. Like it's hard to really match her. Like you kind of want to play like away from her when they get Elise. And when you know they have first pick, you kind of assume they're gonna first pick Elise. Like that's kind of like gonna give a giveaway. So you should have something prepared in advance. Like I go as like either Graves or Olaf. Yeah. Like we already saw Olaf and it worked out pretty well. So I would probably go as Olaf here.
I'd say it worked out very well. And of course, PvPStejos, we haven't seen the Olaf from him as much, but the Graves has been a very big comfort pick for him in the past. That said, we can't lie. It's a very one-sided matchup. PvPStejos is going to have to done some major leveling up in the boot camp to compete with Peanut because this man looked nearly unstoppable, competing with Clear Love, I think, for that title of best jungler in the world.
He's definitely up there, and he's changed the whole team. And yeah, the Graves is the one that you go with. That's in the meta currently to actually go head-to-head with the Elise. Not everybody has so much practice on that Olaf, so it definitely seems like the go-to pick.
I would actually prefer if you win with Olaf here, just because he has the Shen top. Like I'm kind of disappointed.
For like the dive,
yeah, like he went with the Graves, and it doesn't really combo well with what they have. Like I kind of don't like what they did right there.
Yeah, the question is like, does he even play the Olaf? Right? Like not everybody has that prepared.
Yeah,
it's like, what if Skarner's meta in the championship is like, he showed up to the test without being prepared.
I mean, it's wide open, right? There's so many picks that we could potentially see. We only know that Olaf is a meta jungler because we saw him last game. We wouldn't have been surprised not to see him.
Well, he was actually quite high up there, and he kind of took the place of Hecarim, right? The ghost jungler that can outpace you and actually farm really heavily and then actually just use the summoner spell and trade it over and over again and have an advantage. So he's not in this game, though. It's the Graves, and his lanes do have some good gank assistance so far. So it's not going to be awful if he shows up for a gank. He's just going to deliver a lot of damage. But it's all physical right now.
Let's talk a little bit about goals here for junglers in the early game. Elise, kind of the traditional high-pressure jungler. What does Smeb need to do? Which lane does he need to look to target to get ahead? And on the opposite side, how does PvPStejos keep up? Where should he be looking to apply pressure?
I think for Elise, you just want to snowball either your solos. Like you have 2 really good solos right now. You have a Rumble and a Jayce. Like as we've seen, Jayce is a strong pick. Like on the losing team, we saw some high points for Jayce, and I would like to see a really good Jayce snowball from them, and I could definitely see it happening in this game.
Yeah, I would really think if I'm Peanut that I go to the best player in the world's lane and go to Smeb and get that Rumble going, because Rumble was one of Smeb's champions that he played even when it wasn't like top tier meta. It's banned against him all the time. Like he's a very, very good legacy Rumble player, and I feel like every time that champion's in the meta, you have to be scared of what he's able to do on it. Granted, he's up against the Shen, so it's a little bit harder to actually kill that champion. And probably the easiest avenue is to get some type of advantage top lane in terms of push, and then go invade topside jungle with your Elise Rumble and go find that Graves.
I do feel like that's a pretty straightforward strategy, though. Ganking for Smeb, looking to get your top player ahead. It makes a lot of sense, but we have to think that Albus Nox Luna can expect that as well. In the event of a 2v2 on the top side, who has the edge here in those skirmishes?
2v2, it's definitely Elise Rumble. Like you have to consider like the players too. Like no matter what, even if it was a bad matchup, I'll still put on ROX. Like you can win anything really if you're a better player. Like you can give them the worst champions and they still outplay like a team.
Wow. It's spoken like a true Rengar player. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like, come on, like these guys are like the best in the world. Like the Korean region is so dominant. Like these guys, if I gave them like any jungler, they'd probably win 2v2, like no problem.
I like it. We're staying out of the objective. We're not just talking about champions anymore. We're talking about players. And no doubt that ROX has the edge here. But guys, remember, you can take this opportunity to head on over to Twitter, vote hashtag ROXWin or hashtag ANXWin. We'll see the results later as we get ready to get into the game. But looking at this, humor me briefly. If we're talking about even skill level, who has the edge here? Let's assume that Albus Nox Luna have leveled up. They're not going to be Smeb level.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you to kid yourself. But if this was two equally skilled players against each other, is Elise Rumble just definitively the better 2v2?
I personally think so. I feel like Elise Rumble just kind of a head up. You have way more pushing potential with the Rumble. You're able to actually shove the wave in, so you have to take into account you'll probably have minion advantage. And then when the Elise shows up, the hard CC is something that you can't really count out. And just her entire kit, you basically get to face roll over 6 abilities when you show up level 3. And it's something that can't really be paralleled by other junglers.
It's quite a apt description. Face roll over the keys.
I'd love to
6
hear
abilities.
I think,
as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. At least Rumble, they have the early game edge, definitely. But I think once it hits 6, the problem with Elise and Rumble is they're both magic damage, while you have a Graves Shen who are mixed. So once Shen gets like Negatron, or I mean Null Magic and like some MR, it'll just be the advantage for him.
Definitely going to have to see how the early itemization does shape up. We do have that AD mid laner in the form of Jayce. Not a pick we've seen in the mid lane quite yet. But of course, looking Peanut throwing down just a little bit of early vision here. Now moving in further. Interesting early pathing coming in here. Level 1, we have vision laid down for ROX. No vision on the opposite side. So what do you think they're going to do? If they spot Graves here on the Krugs, how does this affect Peanut's early pathing?
I mean, he'll know, like, Graves will either have to finish Raptors, do a level 3 with red, or go blue, but mostly Graves are pretty heavy on, like, the farm side. So he'll probably assume Graves is just going to end bot side for, like, a quick clear and get his blue buff.
Yeah.
If I'm Peanut right now, I'm just preparing, like, a level 3, maybe, like, mid, or I'm just going to do, like, a heavy farm, because I know I'm, like, the better jungler. So I know I can just farm and then, like, just go gank afterwards.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of the information that they got was bot lane wants to do a camp, so you saw Prey and Gorilla actually invade and stop Miracle and Likkrit from actually doing that in camp level 1. And that's pretty much what you get from it. We'll see if it actually pays off later. And this is a red buff start from PvPStejos. He starts on his red buff, and he's running to go do a level 3 and then gank bot. This is actually a very fast path for the Graves from your red buff into your Wolves into another smite on your blue.
I really don't like this clear personally.
I don't like it though, but yeah.
The thing about when you start a red buff is it's like a duration buff, and when you do it first, you're not really applying it for any pressure. You're just letting it tick away. I'd rather it be the finishing buff before a gank than it being the first buff following up as a gank.
Especially as a Graves too.
Yeah, as a Graves, I mean, he could be like doing this as a countermeasure to like a possible invade by Peanut. If I was playing against Peanut, I'd be like, hell no, like shit, this guy.
I'll get my buffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my red buff so I can actually fight him. I don't want to contest the red buff against him. Like, I'll just have that so like I can go even against him.
And we did see Kuro kind of use the pressure that he had in the mid lane to roam over and get that ward down on the blue buff. They know exactly where PvPStejos is. It seems like Peanut's just clearing his jungle, but the rest of his team is giving him so much information.
It's actually weird that he's roaming up towards the side. He's just looking to invade and fight the Graves. He might just get into this bush and wait for him and then just try to chunk him out.
Oh no. This is the horror movie moment.
It's the steal.
Yeah, I don't think he can fight this.
He doesn't have smite either, but he's gonna.
He's probably just gonna get in and leave. Oh.
Yeah, Rumble's already here though, so that's
Peanut,
the thing.
What are you doing?
Peanut's getting really low.
He's baiting for Smeb.
I don't know how much more it's a bait. There's the exhaust going down on the PvPStejos. Smeb is in here, and Kira has overextended. A lot of summoners burn.
He got the Raptor though. Damn, that was actually really sloppy by ROX.
That was unfortunate.
I mean, we're like,
wait.
We're not even. This isn't even the jungle stream. Oh my god, there's a fight.
Yeah.
Observers, take us there. Go.
If Smurf gets his taunt back, oh nice.
Oh, good stand. Smeb, that's first blood for Albus Nox. ROX actually disrespecting their opponent. Here comes PvPStejos. Oh, goes up, goes down.
Yeah, I actually think that Kuro's dead here too.
Oh, this is not a good start. The Jayce running for his life. 2 kills picked up for Albus Nox. What happened there?
Everyone's pick'ems just got screwed.
Yeah, other than that, let's talk about the game. That is just, what an absolute mess of a fight. I mean, Albus Nox clearly taking advantage there.
I know something about when a better team disrespects and underestimates a worse team, and that's not how you want to go about it. The results can always end in the the worst team's favor. So
Yeah.
I think this is a case of them underestimating them.
Yeah, let's take a chance to look at that replay as we get into it when we get the opportunity to bring it up, because right now they're just clearing the jungle. What went wrong here?
This is just really aggressive from Peanut because he goes for the camp, and then he goes for the trade, and then the wall end of the line blows up, and now, sure, he had Smeb there, but now Peanut's completely out of this and doesn't get to contribute. They both flash away, but Smeb, I think, makes a big mistake here, and over chases his Kuro. He's also out of mana, and Smeb just walks forward. Oh, hey, everybody's collapsing back in. This is actually really good communication here from ANX.
ANX, of course, of the wildcard teams, were some of the best at early game skirmishing and communication. They took down the dreams of the Chiefs, an OCE squad, but you can see Peanut doing his best to kind of limit what can happen, but PvPStejos, no fear, just to leap in there.
Yeah, it's really good by them. Like, good for them. Like, getting early game advantages is what you have to do as a worst team. Like, I don't want to say worst team, but like as a underdog team, like you need to get the early game advantages and snowball it.
Yeah, and even just look at what happened in terms of CS afterwards. Like you have a Vladimir, you have a Shen, you have a crazy scaling on your side, but they're both still down like 10 CS. Like they're being punished here. But for their lanes, because they're just going for scaling. So having that early advantage is actually very beneficial. And look at this, ANX trading heavily, and here comes Peanut trying to get it all back.
Coon goes wide, Kuro's going to go in. They are going to grab one.
Oh, one more shot.
Set to go down, though. It's the 1-for-1 in the end.
And that is just so confusing, because now Kira gets free lane farm. He gets to catch up.
Something I want to talk
This
about.
Sloppy from ROX.
Exactly, and the big concern for ROX coming to this was, would Peanut underperform on a big stage? Now, he's missed a couple cocoons. We're only 6 minutes into game one. I don't want to label it as that yet, but I mean, do we expect him to be missing anything against these guys?
I think Peanut might have left his hand in Korea because he's missing a lot of skill shots right now, personally. But yeah.
He's got to play with two hands. That's Bengi, but still. But yeah, I feel like he's just underestimating his opponent. And we were talking actually beforehand that this may be like one of top 2 junglers in the tournament versus bottom 2 junglers in the tournament in terms of how you'd rank them coming in. And I don't blame Peanut for disrespecting, but I feel like it's something that you have to be like, you can't be doing that, man. Like, I understand why he would want to do it. Just be like, this is where I get my advantage for my team, but is obviously just completely underestimating and having it turned around on him. He blew so much there, and now he's camping bottom lane with a tent.
And while we're focused on the bottom side,
this is what CLG did. This is the 3-man dive when Bard is mid.
Gets the CC, easy setup, down goes aMiracle.
Easy setup, easy life. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Bard went towards the mid lane, 3-man dive. That's exactly what CLG did.
Good confidence coming to ROX, they pull it off. Meanwhile, PvPStejos was on the top side, fails to get the kill down onto Smeb, and looking a little bit better for ROX after that, you know, kind of an initial, we can just call it disaster. That initial disaster, I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah, that's actually terrible too, because now the Shen has 2-0, so like, there's no way Elise can like dive that Shen now, so Shen has like good roam. So you can see Elise is going to focus bot. And that's like the right choice. Like you want to focus that ball lane, you have a Rumble ulti, like it's really strong for you, so I can see that happening. It should be good for them.
A solid spot to be in. The vision is down on Peanut though, so they are going to have knowledge of his location. Gives the blue buff over. Stejos and Kuro now setting up for a potential pick. Kuro. Uh-oh. This is a party Kuro didn't want. He's just going to kick the guests out and walk away.
So I went to go watch it again, and Smurf used his stand united on PvPStejos in a gank. So that was actually exactly when Miracle needed it. So Miracle's getting ganked bottom and by 3 people, and that was when the Shen used it. And this is probably Kuro actually going down.
Potentially in trouble. Here comes the pool trying to slow down so PvPStejos can get in. Kuro now in trouble, no flash. I mean, we started so many streams we wanted to focus on a single player.
Yeah.
PvPStejos clearly not happy with that. Now kind of the center of attention, 2-0-2 for the opposing jungler.
Is this the Peanut stream? It's the Peanut versus PvPStejos stream, relabeled.
We take it back. Gorilla in trouble as well.
Yeah, he's going to get a kill here.
Going in, he's going to get another one. Albus Nox Luna.
Look at that. Look at that player cam. He is getting hyped.
That man is excited.
What happens, Inori, when you start getting kills against a team that you've been completely underestimated by? Like,
you get really emotional, and it like fuels your adrenaline and makes you play better. Honestly, that's what I feel when I get like those kills. It makes me know, like, you know, it's kind of like everyone's talking in comms, like, hey guys, we can do this. Like, we're winning. Like, this is a team that's like the best in the world. Like, everyone says we're gonna lose, but we're winning. Like, this is something we can do. And it just motivates everyone. And if you have a good leader, you can really drive that to like the very like edge and like lead that to your victory.
Before we
sorry.
Yeah,
no,
go
I was
ahead.
going to say, before we get into our next discussion, if you are watching, get involved in the discussion. Head on over to Twitter at LOL Esports. Hashtag Ask the Casters. Let's see what else Inori has to say. Inori, I want to ask you, if you're in Peanut's position right now, what is the next step for you? What do you have to do in this game?
You just avoid top lane what he's not doing. Like, we're doing this right now. I guess he wants to back him up because the wave's in a bad spot. But you need to avoid this lane. You need to go bot, mid. Control vision, river, bot side. Control dragon. I don't think this team wards well. You could probably sneak a dragon as Elise. Like, there's a lot of possible options you can do. I don't like farming right now, but I mean, if you're the better team, you could just farm and still win probably.
Yeah, I think PvPStejos is just not only just out-farming him, outpacing him right now, because he has that advantage. Like, it's just going to be so much easier for this Graves to clear these camps and then get to business in these lanes. You can see he just even clears his topside jungle, goes middle, clears out a ward for his mid laner, and now he's just going to pass straight through. Doesn't give a damn. He's honey badgering right now, just walk straight through that mid lane.
Lets him know. Kuro, you overstep. I'm going to smack you.
This is great from Stejos. There's actually some really good warding, too.
Strong aggressive play. Now he has the dagger there as he starts to
He's
clear
gonna
in
put
the
another ward
Raptors.
here. Yeah.
What's the next step for him? Is this going to be the Phantom Dancer? Is this going to be the... I mean, what is the optimal build here for Graves at this point?
Some people go for the rapid fire cannon, but I think the Phantom Dancer might be what he goes
PD's
for.
probably like really good at synergize as well as your E because it tanks stats.
It's actually probably Berserker's Greaves.
Yeah, tier 2 boots are really good too.
Yeah. Oh, he's going for the gank on him.
The 1v1.
This is
Peanut potentially caught out. Going to leap over the wall. PvPStejos trying to make his presence known. Flash to safety. Now the ROX are looking to get the favorable setup. Prey potentially in trouble. Dashes out. ANX, they really want blood here.
Yeah, but Smurf had to use his Stand United to get down there. Kira blows Ghost. Like, he's just looking for this kill on Peanut. They want to kill him. They
Flash
show it off.
Are going to get him in the end. Albus Nox Luna up in kills. Now looking to dive aMiracle with
great.
the Jhin setup.
This is great.
Kira caught up in the tower.
Nice bubble.
Nice bubble from Gorilla. In comes Kuro on the backside. Maybe going to look to knock him back into the tower. Down goes PvPStejos. ROX may be looking behind, but they're trying to catch up here.
Yeah, if they get one more kill, Kuro has enough for EQ. Got him. Yep.
I was scared there for Korea.
Yeah.
I was scared for the ROX Tigers, but
Even in gold.
now managed to bring it back 5-7.
Yeah, too much adrenaline at that point for ANX. Like, they got what they needed and then completely outplayed underneath the turret. Like, a really good bubble from Gorilla to save the game in a way.
Yeah, they got a little hypey and they overextended and they lost really bad out bad.
Ugh.
It's okay though, but not really for their ball lane. Looking at Jhin CS, I'm feeling pretty bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully Peanut can snowball that lane even further and get the first tower gold.
Yeah, and not just the Jhin CS, but also the kills. Let's take a chance to look back at that last fight. What exactly went wrong here? Because this was just devastating for Albus Nox.
This is great from Stejos. I think this is actually a really, really good play here. But he already used his dash, so he has to use his ultimate backwards to get over the wall. So just wanted that extra shot when he was skirmishing him and didn't predict that the Elise would actually go to safety, which seems like an oversight. But Peanut walks back in, thinks that they're all gone. But it ends up being actually a really good play here. They don't have a top TP, so Rumble's just trying to get the most out of this possible. And that's what's actually scary for me moving on, is that the TP is still up.
Yeah, just not a hole where you want to be.
Oh, such a good bubble.
That was just fantastic
Yeah.
from Gorilla there.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't like this play at all.
Ugh.
I think they should not have gone for this. Like after they got the Elise flash,
Yeah, I feel like you
just
don't
go
do anything.
bait the dragon like you chunked her out. Like force an objective, don't go for the kills, but
Yeah, now you TP down, you get the kill.
Terrifying.
That's why it was scary. And now, yeah, that right there is a game-winning play. Because what happened in that previous one is ROX were able to actually get the gold back to even without having to use Smeb's TP. Smeb got a CS advantage for himself, didn't even use the ultimate to like desperate clear a wave, and just waited. Because now there's a mismatch. Shen doesn't have any globals to get down to the bottom, make a bottom lane play, get this turret for first gold, 5-man bottom, and yeah, now they're just gonna have a large advantage for about 2-3K.
that was the TP of the best player in the world right there.
Yeah. Well, they gave him a really deep ward too. It's nice.
Good setup now. Peanut moving in to clear the Ocean Drake, and I feel like we were ready to praise Peanut. We were ready to see Peanut outclass PvPStejos, but honestly, it just feels like one mistake from Albus Nox, and it's the entirety of ROX that turned this around. This is not really the Peanut show. It feels more like Smeb and Prey really the ones that are going off. Gorilla as well.
Yeah.
It's mostly this matchup though, because Elise into Graves is very snowbally for both sides. It does favor Elise in a way that like you have more like you're more versatile, you have more options, you can go for ganking routes, you can go farming, like you just have a lot more options, but one-on-one is still like a pretty even fight. You have to be very careful. And we saw him disrespect him a lot, and he went for that 1v1 in their job. I really thought it was kind of silly by Peanut, but I could see him like laughing about it. Like he's just having fun. He's having fun for his first game. He doesn't want to show too much, like too many like strategies. It's just kind of like it looks like he has no strategies in mind right now. He's just playing off like what he feels like doing right now.
And you got to imagine getting behind in your first game, and then if he can bring this back, if they can find this win, that's got to be pretty good for the nerves. As a player who has a reputation of kind of getting frustrated on stage, not being able to perform, losing in the early game and then coming back, that's got to be a pretty big confidence booster.
Yeah, I definitely think so. But Peanut, at the same time, like, this is his first international tournament ever. And if they make it to the knockout stages, which, like, speaking forward and stuff like that, he actually has a negative win rate in best of fives. So there's still, like, eyes on how does this player perform internationally. Because the jury's still out.
Collapse mid lane. Peanut, not so much part of this fight, but a lot of long-range poke use to try to secure this first tower.
Yeah, they're just making sure that they get a lot of people off of this. And what's your wave clear if you're this composition from ANX? Well, it's your Graves.
Setup coming out. Likkrit really looking to make these bard plays happen, but Prey just holding on to those dashes time and time again. Now keep your eyes on Peanut. He's going to not do anything. I thought he was going to move up, thought he was going to go for the counter jungle, but just regrouping in the mid lane.
Oh, flash forward there.
Kuro bringing in the Shen delivery system. Peanut goes up, has to come down here.
This is really split focus, but ANX are going to get a kill here.
Yeah, just now backing off. Peanut perks the Ocean Drake, does just get a heal up a little bit there.
You show him, Peanut.
Yeah,
let him know.
Yeah, I love the Elise auto attacks. It's kind of like a limp-wristed attack. It's like, take that.
It's so gentle.
One for the road.
Peanut. Oh, looking to give Likkrit one for the road.
It's an NA ping for them.
NA ping. Oh my god.
PvPStejos, maybe a little bit too brave for his own good. Gets the quick auto. In, out. Detroit goes down. Peanut not quite going off this game, but is definitely applying a bit of pressure here in the mid lane.
I feel like he's so desperate to kind of like redeem himself for that early game right now. He's trying to like force as much as possible because he doesn't want his coach to yell at him later, saying like, "What did you do this game?"
Oh, I feel like he's gonna get yelled at.
Either
anyway.
way, he's probably getting yelled at. Yeah.
No, you know what he has to do is he has to make Kuro look as bad as possible, and just so the coach yells at Kuro
pray
instead.
that the coach goes on him. Yeah.
Bold strategy, but right now looks like
stunt.
Peanut's trying to redeem himself by tag teaming with the best player on the team. Try to shut this down.
Go for the dive with Elise. I mean, even they had 3 people show up, don't even get to kill the turret there. It's like a 1 hit away.
Yeah, it's like what we talked about when the Shen gets those MR items. Like, what do you do? Like, even if your Rumble's fed, actually, if he messes up with that,
apparently you flash kill him.
Yeah. Hey, take a drink, Peanut.
Peanut's like, all right, I'm back. We got the kill. We're moving on. You know, that's a good spot to be. But now it looks like Albus Nox Luna are going to try to start a fight as Peanut just going to hide in the bush here. Not going to connect on the cocoon.
Gotta say, though, like, these guys are really aggressive for a wildcard team. Like, they are actually the ones making a lot of these plays.
Yeah, I respect that a lot. I think going against like strong teams, you really have to play the aggressive role.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't play the aggressive role, you know they can like
1v1 champion?
Oh,
nope.
Nope.
Close.
Almost gets him. Dash out in the end. So much patience from Prey, and now ROX very clearly in the lead, and it feels like it's just easy for Peanut to keep looking for these follow-ups, but really having a rough game missing these cocoons.
I actually feel like you hold the cocoon there instead of using it, because now Miracle gets to walk back up because he knows that the CC is down. At that point, you just kind of zone him away with the potential of the cocoon. Because soon, like, even if he lands that, like, who follows up, right? I feel like you hold it there and just use it to zone. It's like the threat of a cocoon is actually better than a cocoon there.
Yeah, it's kind of like blitz hook. You just want to make them like stay at a range and not come up to you.
Yeah, you lose all your pressure as soon as you miss it.
Yeah, just watching Peanut right now, it's kind of like playing a bit solo queue-ish.
Yeah.
It's a little sloppy, but it's your first game in an international tournament. I remember my first LCS game, I was so shaky. So like I could see like he might be a little shaky at first, but I could see him getting into like game 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he performs in matches to come. A little bit rough here early on, but still doing a good job for himself. Behind in CS, but 2-1-5, not a bad scoreline. Immediate itemization heading towards that proto belt despite being up behind earlier on. Do you think this is kind of the new standard for Elise? What do we normally expect as the second major item?
It started to come into popularity after like Rylai's is just so expensive, and Proto Belt gives you CDR, gives you a lot of stats that you want and need. And also just Proto Belt into Cocoon is actually pretty powerful to catch people off guard, because most people are judging mentally like the distance of how far can I play away from this guy before the Cocoon can hit me, and Proto Belt kind of makes people shift that, can get them unexpectedly.
Yeah, it's just a really cost-efficient item. It has like really good stats for you. It's Elise. You don't really want mana, you just want health and AP, and it gives you all the stats you want. It's a cheap item. Early game, you can get it. Apply your pressure right away. Yeah. Ooh, hit this one.
Nice connect. Gets it even to the Shadow Dash, but no follow-up here, as ROX are just going to back off. They do get the tower in the end, and this feels like pretty slow, clean play coming in now that ROX have found themselves in a lead.
Yeah, Praise destroying this game. Like ADCS up at the moment, and you can kind of see how the game is devolved from like strategy for a large portion of it, because like Kuro hasn't been CSing. He's like 2 and 4. He started off really poorly. Like this Jayce isn't doing too much for your squad. And as soon as they notice that, they're like, all right, we got the bottom turret with a great play. Let's free up mid lane. Let's go mid lane. Let's make sure that we can actually just get this turret. And they forced that one down, and now they're just doing that across the map kind of systematically. Like bottom lane and Dragon look like the next point here for ROX.
And you can see how rough it's been for PvPStejos because he was so far ahead. I mean, he had that single dagger. Now all he's managed to complete are the tier 2 boots, the Ninja Tabby, not the Berserker's Greaves, and that Zeal. He hasn't even finished that Zeal item yet.
I don't know how much I like Tabbies here. I actually think I don't like them at all.
Oh, yeah, on Graves? Oh.
Yeah, like, it's armor, but...
I think it's, like, unnecessary. Like, right now, you really need to go commit full damage. Like, he should have won more damage, continue the snowballing. Like, you don't need tab eyes at this point. You're already tanky. It doesn't make really that much of a difference.
Yeah, it would have actually been interesting if he went for early Youmuu's Ghostblade instead, and had like more actual just physical damage and armor penetration. I know that's like a snowballing Graves build, as some people go for that, but especially against the composition he's against, like nobody's going to build armor on this team. Like there's going to be barely any armor on ROX.
Yeah, he definitely could have done that build too.
It's not as popular, but PD's the one that like you want that mobility. The biggest problem for him is like chasing people down, but Youmuu's does have that active to do it. I'm just trying to think of how it could have been good for him.
It's mostly because crit multiplier is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, when you're right up in their face.
So like I think the math you do it, and it's like crit helps you more than damage does, or AD. So it's like when people build it, it just feels so good. If you get that one crit on them, you just win the fight.
I mean, it's a strong place to be overall. Does, in the end, finally manage to complete that major item. Now working towards the next longsword buy. Maybe going to be that Youmuu's. But Peanut, with the Proto Belt completed, already that much more terrifying. Albus want to start another fight, though.
Yeah, they're going to kill Gorilla right off, I think. Oh nope. Never mind.
There goes the ulti. Maybe looking to get a little bit more. But this is honestly just a bloodbath.
They got who they needed, though. They got rid of Prey.
Goes in. Kuro wants to start the fight, wants to keep it going too, trying to duel out on the Graves. Peanut wants to make his presence known. Proto Belt forward is going to tag Smurf with the back rocket, but it's just going to repel on out to safety. And what is going on?
But like with a 10k gold advantage, this is more than you could possibly hope for if you're ANX.
It's only like suiting that Peanut's the last one alive.
The stream continues.
We were going to take a break. We were just going to go to commercial or something, but we got Peanut's alive, so we'll keep our focus here.
Yeah.
He's going to run away.
Yeah, picks up a lot of kills in that fight, actually. So he's 4-1 and 6 now. I wonder if he goes for Rylai's next and just kind of almost disrespects in a way. Like you go for just the full flat HP build with some AP. And this is just a good dive from him afterwards for the follow-up. Not sure what Gorilla's doing. Just everybody's kind of taking turret aggro back and forth. And Gorilla didn't get out when the Spiderlings were taking, so he's kind of donezo at that point.
Not quite the setup you want.
Yeah.
I do like the little bit of emo here. Clearly these guys are having fun. Maybe the pressure's off now that they're 23 minutes into the game.
I thought I said emo here.
Emo. Getting a little emotional. Just debates whether or not he should walk back in the tower.
Flash my emote. Go a little emo too.
Oh man. Peanut.
Yeah.
Definitely the person we should be watching on the map right now, because you can see here comes the damage.
Rylai's.
Here comes the Rylai's. Peanut's
4-1
4-1 and 6. He started off, it was grim for Peanut, and now he's looking so good. And I mean, let's be honest, this is so good in terms of scoreline. Bear with me. I can see the
KD-wise, yeah, I think he's playing a KD game right now. He's riding off the back of Prey. Prey has a pretty big back right now, carrying the whole team after the top lane shenanigans that was going on. If I was Prey, if I saw that stuff top lane, I'd be like, team, please, we have to win this. Come on.
I think that's what he did too. He's like, get my backpack. 23 minutes in, 100 CS up. Like he's just bodying aMiracle right now. And the whole team helped out there too. As soon as they got an advantage in globals, they recognized that and brought Smeb down. It's completely changed the game.
Yeah, rough path for Stejos as well. Finally gets the second very serrated Dirk, but things are getting harder and harder as more burst damage comes into Peanut. And really, this Lucian is just so far ahead.
Yeah, I think Gorilla deserves a lot of credit in this too. Like the bubble onto Kuro, because Kuro would have gotten another Q off. He would have been able to like actually save himself. And, everybody's
Peanut
dying.
gets the cocoon. Likkrit now set to fall. Peanut just running through with the rest of the team. Hops over the wall, now looking to keep the duel going. Solid presence in the team, but at the end of the day, it's Smeb on the back line who really defines that play. I mean, really, at this point, we talk all about junglers. We look at the early game. Early game, bad for Peanut. Early game,
awful.
Really, really good for Prey. Massive CS advantage, and this man more than happy to carry the team this time around. But Peanut at this point, I feel like it's just so easy for him to help out in team fights.
Yeah, he's kind of getting carried by his team a bit. They tried to help him out at the start, and they still were able to actually come back from that. It was actually a series of bad plays too, and when Peanut almost got soloed in the jungle by PvPStejos, when he was camping in that red bush really early on and before the game flipped, like I just think Stejos played that poorly. Like using his dash in the middle of the fight when you know Elise is going to go over one of those walls is kind of a misplay, because then he has to use his ultimate for no damage. You don't kill the Elise as fast, he gets out of there, and then your team overstays. And it's just a whole timing difference thing. Like, I'm going back really early in the game, but...
Yeah, but I mean, these are the crucial moments that matter, and you can see this is the result of those early advantages, is that these fights are easy. Peanut got to ignore everyone else on the team, walk right up to that support, and just combo him out.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have liked if he just, like... He didn't have to do any of the stuff early game. Like, you could see right now, even behind, they were going to win. Like, why would you risk it by invading the jungler? Like, you don't need to do plays like that. Just control river, get the scuttle, play how you do against a good team. Don't disrespect them. Yeah. Like, going into the next games, I hope he treats his series as, like, any other opponent. And he just practices, like, his own game and make sure it's clean so people don't look at him and like, kind of look down on his play for this game. But, yeah, I also prefer if someone bans Elise, because I really don't want to do a Elise game. I want to see some Kazakhs. I want to see some Rengar.
Oh, yeah.
Probably not a Rengar.
Get a Skarner in there.
Get a Skarner. Like, I want people to jazz it up a bit. But yeah, Elise is still fine. She's a strong champion, probably the best right now.
Yeah, blue side is probably going to be ROX ban, first pick Elise for a lot of this tournament.
And you can see the fight unfolding on our screen, but sadly, it's kind of written at this point that ROX are going to win the game. The lead is massive. If Albus Nox Luna can come back, it would be aMiracle. No pun intended on their AD carry, who is having a very poor game, unfortunately, down 100 CS.
If they lose, it's also a miracle.
It's also
I'm just saying.
Grim Fate. Oh, here comes the Alto. Kind of the last dance coming in here. Peanut's still alive, but may get burned down here. Emo Plate comes out. Nice sidestep from him. Putting on a little bit of mechanics here.
Ooh,
Smurf going in. Prey trying to go off and just hit the back line. Putting on a clinic.
Everybody on the team of ANX is just walking into Prey's face. Like,
yeah.
The Jhin still has flash. He's got 2 shots left, and he's right in the face of Lucian. Like, he's actually walking towards him. Like, there's no dank auto spacing today.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we call that the Quadra, we call that the closeout, and whatever happened with Peanut, it was just not what mattered in this game, because one misstep from ANX is what won ROX today, and you can see the teamwork there, coming through for the emo BM to close it all out.
Yeah, it's more on the punish game of ANX needs to be better, and they can't get over greedy, because that game, like, I want to say that game was kind of theirs. From the get-go. Like, if you're handed that type of advantage as a team that's even near the middle or top of the standings, like, you're going to win this game. Like, you can roll that other team over.
Yeah, I definitely thought they had the chance to win it. Like, the thing is, like, if you don't get the early game lead as the, like, underdog team, you're going to lose. But if you get that early game lead, it's in your hands. You have a chance to win it. But you cannot drop the ball, and they dropped the ball there. It's unfortunate it happens. Like, it was probably expected, so it's just going in future games. Like, they need to just not drop the ball next time.
Yeah, big opportunity for them to learn, of course, however. Found the way to get the early lead. Were able to punish those early mistakes. So it is a good showing from them in the end, but this is what happens when you play against a top team. If you give them any opening, they're going to find a way to come back into the game. And after ROX Tigers managed to take that fight on the bottom side of the map, it was honestly all too easy. Although Peanut, he's struggling with something.
Yeah, Smeb is like, you come to my lane again? Early game? No, never again. You're off the team.
Shame on you, Peanut.
Yeah, how could you let me die?
You bring dishonor to us.
Wow. Strong. Hardcore analysis of what exactly was happening there on the stage. Of course, rough early game. PvPStejos doing pretty well for himself, I'd say, in those early stages.
Actually, I'm going to check something, because it's probably Smeb going, I have the highest damage in the game. Like, that always happens with, like, top lane Rumble players. They're like, check the stats at the end. Damage up the champions. It's like, no, not quite.
Can't out-damage the Prey.
Prey just constantly, like even like oh my god, the Jhin damage is, I want to say, a fourth of the damage. It is actually a fourth of the damage of the Lucian. Like going by the bars on that screen.
Yes.
See.
Zirene now asking
25,000
exact numbers. This is what's important.
Like
okay.
He did 6,800 damage as a Jhin versus 25k.
Awesome.
7k, 25k.
Jungle stream.
All right.
Let's talk a little bit more about
PvPStejos did more damage than Peanut.
I mean, PvPStejos was doing pretty good in the early game there. And is also playing Graves. I think, a little bit more of that consistent damage. But the thing I want to talk about, Inori, you brought up kind of some of the more interesting jungle matchups. I think we will see a lot of Elise Nidalee banned. What do you expect to be the priority once those two are taken off the table?
I think Graves is up there, definitely. We saw Graves. We saw how dominant he can be. He's one of the stronger champs. Like, Graves is really strong. Olaf's also a contender. The champ pool is pretty big right now. I can see a lot of junglers popping up.
Probably see a Zac at some point.
Definitely see Zacs play, especially when NA plays, and probably some Kazakhs. I can see some Kazakhs being played recently. Looking at solo queue, watching all the boot campers play, I've seen so many Kazakh games.
I've seen Rumble Jungle too, but it's
Rumble Jungle,
it's probably gonna go top.
Yeah, I can see it as being a more fun pick. But I saw a lot of Kazakhs in LPL from Clear Love, and I could see him pulling it out.
Evelyn as well.
Yeah, Evelyn too. There's a lot of meta picks we can see, and yeah, I think. But Elise is obviously standing on top of them all. So if Elise is banned, I can see them picking those picks.
Yeah, but I feel like in order for that to actually kind of open up the pool, it's like Rec side, blue side ban is probably what's going through. You want to first pick the Elise, so then red side has to go all right, we have to ban Elise so that you don't first pick it. And maybe you have to ban Nidalee against somebody like Peanut, so you're already using 2 jungle bans on red side. It's not really that great.
Yeah,
so blue side, blue side definitely, I think first pick is probably going to be a jungler almost every time.
Interesting too, because of course there's so many priority mid lanes as well. We haven't seen Jayce be a ban priority, but we have seen the Syndra ban come out. We have seen Aurelion Sol kind of be a little bit more of a priority as well. So I'm curious now, looking at this, is Rek'Sai still among the top tier junglers? We talk so much about Elise Nidalee, but is Rek'Sai still in that top 3, an immediate first pick?
Yeah, he's definitely still one of the best. Just because
You assume her gender?
She.
What are you doing? No, I'm just kidding.
I apologize for that. She's probably the best still because of her kit. As much as you want to nerf her, they're not hitting the right points of her. It keeps hitting her stats and stuff. But what makes her OP is what she does is go over walls, get deep vision, have tremor sense to see enemies. She does these things that no other jungler can do, which is just her strongest points. And it hasn't been really nerfed to the point where it's not good anymore. So the points are still good about her. So I can still see her being the top tier jungler.
Yeah, I was actually the playtester for Rek'Sai when she was in development. So I spent a lot of months with her before she was
that's why
released.
she's broken. Good unreleased. So you did good.
Fun fact, her burrowed Q, the 1600 range, used to have a slow on it. So you used to be able to slow people with it. It's like a Jayce Q with a slow. Those your ganks are super good. But I'm the person who got that taken off, so you're welcome.
Oh, okay.
But,
so we should praise you
just the nature of Rek'Sai as a champion in the jungle is a little bit broken in a way. She has AoE clear, she has sustain, she has move blocks that gets her over walls that nobody else can get over, and the only way that you really take this champion out is if you change her fundamentally. What about Rek'Sai is really good? Well, she can actually have those gank routes, which makes her the #1 jungler, unless she's just got so little base stats that it's so risky to take her. That would be what you would have to do to her if you didn't want to actually rework the kit. Because I feel if you change the tunnel distance, animation has to change. There's a lot of things you have to do for that. You have to change a whole bunch about this champion, and it's going to feel awful.
Yeah, a very powerful champion, clearly one that has always found a way to get back to the meta despite repeated hits to that kit. But, of course, we'll have to see in our 4th matchup of the day between INTZ and EDG. We'll be joined by Inori once again to break down Clear Love versus Revolta. If one of them is going to get their hands on that Rek'Sai, I was going to say Renekton, definitely not a good jungle champion. Don't know. Hold back.
I'm up for surprises.
Nope. I am not up for that surprise. Next on the Player Experience stream, Pulse and LS are going to be taking the desk and are joined by Froggen as we focus on the mid lane matchup between Ryu and Westor. As I mentioned, Inori will be back later, as will Matt for our Game 6 in the AD carry duel between Doublelift and Uzi. So bottom lane fans, stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to pass you back to the analyst desk, which is already in progress.
Or that you let a team like the ROX Tigers pick up